Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we are diving into the wonderfully organized world of AIMS documentation, and we're going to take that mysterious AI black box and turn it into something completely transparent. Let's just jump right in because as artificial intelligence gets woven into literally everything, from healthcare diagnostics to financial credit scoring, the need for absolute clarity has absolutely never been more urgent.
Now, here is a massive question for you to think about. How do you audit a machine that actually thinks? It's a huge deal, because if an autonomous AI makes a critical decision today, you need to be able to prove exactly why it was trained that way. Think about it. If an AI system in a hospital misdiagnoses a patient, or an algorithm incorrectly denies a loan because of some flawed data, we can't just throw our hands up and blame the machine. No way. We have to trace that decision-making process all the way back to its roots. We need to see the exact data it was trained on, the testing it went through, and crucially, the human oversight involved.
So, to answer that question, we use an AIMS. That stands for an Artificial Intelligence Management System. Under the ISO/IEC 4201-2023 standard, this is your ultimate blueprint for keeping AI systems secure, fair, and completely auditable. It's not just about writing great code. It's about building a rock-solid governance structure where every single phase of the AI lifecycle is meticulously documented and strictly controlled.
Here's our agenda for today's explainer. We'll start with taming the AI black box, then move into mastering document control, look at the document lifecycle, explore centralized document repositories, and finally wrap up with the audit-ready AIMS.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Taming the AI Black Box, moving from opacity to clarity.
You know, AI naturally wants to be this opaque black box, but proper documentation, it transforms that black box into a beautifully clear glass box where every single decision can be traced. In a black box scenario, you're looking at unexplainable models, hidden biases, and unauditable outcomes, a real compliance nightmare. But by applying these ISO principles, we're suddenly requiring transparent models, fully documented rationales for AI decisions, and processes that actually explain the logic. We are literally changing the architecture of how these systems are governed.
This idea of transparency isn't just some nice-to-have bonus. It's a strict requirement if you want to build trust in high-stakes environments. The standard mandates that whether you're a highly technical engineer or an everyday non-technical stakeholder, the decisions generated by the AI must be explainable. If an applicant gets denied a loan, regulators and auditors absolutely have the right to know the factors that led to that outcome.
Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering Document Control, which is really the foundation of trust.
You simply cannot build a safe AI without these core control practices. They are what ensures your policies, records, and datasets are completely protected from any unauthorized tampering. We're talking about consistent version control, clear access limits, role-based authentication, and secure data storage. This means having a really systematic approach to identifying documents, protecting them from accidental tweaks, and maintaining absolute confidentiality.
Let me give you an example of why this matters. Strict version control guarantees that if your incident response plan gets updated to version 2.0, nobody is accidentally out there using the outdated, riskier version from last year. Every single time a document is modified, a new version has to be created and tracked. It's a real game changer because it ensures everyone is working with the latest protocols and it gives auditors a perfect view of how your security practices have evolved over time.
Which brings us to Section 3, the document lifecycle. Let's look at a system's journey.
What's really fascinating is how the standard treats documentation as a living life cycle. Every single document has to go through this exact, organized progression. It starts Step 1, creation, and giving it a unique identifier. Then, Step 2, it moves into review and approval. After that, we have Step 3, controlled distribution, meaning only the right people get access. And finally, Step 4, secure storage and disposal. When a document outlives its usefulness, it has to be securely destroyed so obsolete data doesn't come back to haunt you.
Now, the absolutely crucial point here is that review and approval step. It ensures human oversight is always maintained before any AI policy goes live. ISO 42001 really stresses this human-in-the-loop approach. AI is there to augment human judgment, not completely replace it. So, before a new data privacy protocol or an updated algorithmic model gets deployed, relevant personnel and authorized management must officially review and approve the documentation.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, Centralized Document Repositories, or what we like to call the single source of truth. Having scattered files across a dozen different local drives and departments is a literal compliance nightmare. You lose audit trails, get confused about versions, and open yourself up to severe security risks. On the flip side, a centralized document management system, or DMS, acts as this beautifully secure, single source of truth. It handles the automated versioning, gives you strict role-based access, and allows for immediate retrieval. And let me tell you, when you're in the middle of an active audit, being able to instantly pull up what you need is absolutely critical.
Within that centralized repository, these access controls are your ultimate guardians. They track every single interaction to stop unauthorized changes dead in their tracks. Role-based access control means a junior developer isn't accidentally rewriting a core deployment guideline meant for need-to-know personnel. Multi-factor authentication verifies identity and locks down your most sensitive records. And those audit trails? They act as a chronological log, constantly answering the who, what, and when of any modifications.
And finally, let's wrap things up with Section 5, the audit-ready aims. This is all about proving your compliance.
When auditors show up, they are going to be looking for absolute traceability. They want to see that every single modification leaves a permanent, transparent footprint pointing right back to a responsible human. We're talking chronological audit trails, detailed metadata, and clear documented ownership. This level of comprehensive version history is exactly what separates a wild, undocumented AI experiment from a mature, fully compliant management system.
Of course, top management has to be fully on board for this to work. They need to allocate the right mix of resources to keep this auditable system running flawlessly. It's a careful balance. You need the technical infrastructure, which should take up about 35% of your resource allocation, but you equally need human expertise, making up another 35%, people who actually understand these systems. Add in 20% for the financial budget and dedicate that final 10% of your time specifically for audits, and you've got a solid framework.
Ultimately, the whole shebang, all of this versioning, storing, and tracking, boils down to taking human responsibility for the actions of our AI. Clear accountability mechanisms just have to be there. If a system fails or spits out an inaccurate outcome, the organization cannot just hide behind the algorithm. The documentation is your roadmap to finding the root cause, taking corrective action, and making sure it never happens again.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Is your AI actually accountable, operating as a transparent glass box backed by rigorous document control? Or is it just an undocumented experiment waiting to cause a compliance disaster? The choice is entirely up to you. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep structuring those systems, and I'll catch you in the next one.